Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to today's video. Now I know it's been out for a while, and obviously it's got quite a lot of hate, behind it. It's one of those. Why did they bother to make that kind of movies, if you ask me? And like I say, I know it's been out for a while. It's been out for a few weeks now to buy for home as well. Of course, I'm talking about X-Men Dark Phoenix. Well, there's not a lot of good things to say about it, really, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone, so there is a spoiler alert for those of you that, would rather not know anything about it before you go into it. First off, the plus sides of this release, and this being the 4K Ultra HD version, are that the picture quality is amazing, almost reference quality in certain places. The audio, brilliant as well. I have it on in the background. If you might be able to hear it from time to time as we're talking through. Now, I don't, obviously X-Men films have always been plagued with timeline inconsistencies, let's say. Whether it be the original trilogy, followed by X-Men Origins, and then obviously you've got the prequel trilogy, followed by this X-Men Dark Phoenix. Now, obviously, they're all supposed to lead into one another. Unfortunately, that's where X-Men Dark Phoenix sort of like gets off the ride, so to speak. It doesn't seem to follow anything. There's nothing to explain that it's a standalone film or anything like that, because they've obviously incorporated elements in from the others, but they just seem to gloss over everything. For example, a continuation, yet it starts off in a completely different way to how you're expecting Jean Grey to be discovered, because you already know how Jean Grey is discovered, because in the original X-Men trilogy, obviously Professor X and Magneto visit her in her home. In this one, it's completely different. He picks her up from a hospital, and so that's one part of it. Other niggles and elements of this which I just think to myself, what was the writer thinking? For instance, Jennifer Lawrence's character, she seems to have various shades of blue throughout this movie, for the small part she kind of has in it. At one point you wonder, why isn't she wearing one glove like Michael Jackson would? Because she's slowly losing her pigment as the film goes on. Obviously, Jean Grey originally didn't discover her powers, or true potential powers, until X-Men 2. But in this one, she seems to, have them, and really doesn't know how to use them. Other problems with it, it's just got no continuity to the others, and it really spoils it. I mean, I know obviously the Fox Disney transition thing was happening around about the time this was being made or in post-production, hence reshoots that Disney ordered because of the similarities to Captain Marvel. By similarities, I mean explosions where power gets absorbed and stuff like that. The problem is they got a stellar cast in this movie. You know, Fassbender. Yeah, he's a brilliant actor. You've obviously you've got all the big names in it. James McAvoy, another great actor. Jennifer Lawrence, as I said, she's in it, and she's completely wasted in it. Completely. Other characters that are wasted, and in my opinion, obviously, standout character for the X-Men films has always been Wolverine. But obviously this does not contain any Wolverine. So obviously they've had to rely on characters like Quicksilver and stuff in X-Men Apocalypse. It was really great in Days of Future Past. Days of Future Past for me is still the best X-Men film ever made. But that's where Quicksilver really sort of like became what you thought would be the franchise's next character to follow. But he only gets literally, I'd say, 5 minutes screen time max in this, and he doesn't really get to show the potential of his powers in this movie. Not like he did in the others, which is a shame because there's a great opportunity to actually have a decent character that you actually cared about. But the way these guys have been portrayed in this, it just seems that you don't really care who lives or dies. Which is a shame, as I said, because you know, X-Men films, they're great to watch, and they do make a difference from obviously MCU films, which I'm not even going to start to slag off because I there's not an MCU film I don't actually enjoy. Obviously in this film there is actually reference to the MCU. I believe they're called the Mutant Containment Unit. MCU is the initial. And now I don't know whether it was a metaphor that, because obviously Fox having to selling all the rights and selling the company to Disney would mean that X-Men will be under the lock and key of the MCU, which, judging by this film, is probably not a bad thing that they get their control back of it. You know, I can't wait to see it, because after this you just really need to go back and watch the other X-Men films just to remind you how good an X-Men film can be. I had to detox myself from this film and watch Days of Future Past again straight away after the last time I watched it. Funny side note, I don't know how they got the actors to come back for it, because they must have been told something completely different about how the film was going to be in comparison to how it actually is. I mean, I can imagine Fassbender must have got super excited and thought, well, I don't really want to do another one, but there's a sex scene in this, and I'm part of it. Obviously, he'd misinterpreted what it was meant to be, because he just read it as Jean Grey manipulates your helmet, and probably stopped reading there thinking, well, hey, I get to do one. This is going to be an R-rated X-Men, but no. It's not. It's not that great in comparison to others. It's a mess. Nothing's really explained properly. I mean, as I said, the positives about it, the 4K, the Blu-ray, excellent picture quality, excellent audio quality, and the special effects in the movie really are awesome. The sad parts of it are the story makes no sense in line with everything else. The events that happen again in the next, if you're looking at, timeline runs, they would happen again in the future X-Men films that have already been made before. It's just awful to watch. If you want a story that just makes sense. I'm just watching it now, and obviously the best parts of this literally are the first 10 minutes or so before they have a chance to completely ruin it by muddled storyline, muddled timeline, and everything else. Really is strange. I mean, we're 10 minutes in, and Jennifer Lawrence is already on her third shade of blue for her outfit. It's just weird. By outfit, I mean her makeup design. And no, it's not the HDR playing up or anything like that, because I've turned the HDR off and it still does exactly the same thing. Because I just thought maybe it was the 4K HDR mix that was making the colours seem off. But no, it really is weird to see her lighten up, so to speak, as the film goes on. But no, James McAvoy, Fassbender, Lawrence, and the other cast members, I don't think they can honestly be proud of this movie, because sadly it's a wasted opportunity that Fox could have made a excellent swan song basically to a franchise which has obviously made them a lot of money over the years. I mean, let's face it, it was really them that kick-started, comic book movies. They came out with X-Men, and then obviously Sony followed with Spider-Man, and so on and so forth. But no, to muddle up the storylines this far, it really it doesn't impress, and I'm sure anyone who watched it or is going to watch it will agree once they see it. You have to watch it just so you can see what I mean by how confused it all is. But yeah, don't pay full price for it. Whatever you do, wait for it to go in the Black Friday sale or something. But yeah, as I say, not enough Quicksilver, not enough Jennifer Lawrence, not enough of anything that makes sense. But as I said, though, for a special effects film, if you just like watching a film for the special effects and you're not worried about story, that's great. This is definitely for you. But I only got this from HMV on day one release, because HMV was supposed to have a special collector's edition slipcover and box. Unfortunately, when I got down there, they hadn't had them sent in, and I don't think they've not had them since. So I bought it anyway because of the completist in me. But I mean, and I never like to listen to what critics say until I've actually seen something for myself, because there's been films in the past which people have gone, oh, that's rubbish. Take Thomas Jane's The Punisher, for instance. Now that is a great comic book film. Yes, it's not set in New York like The Punisher, I believe, should be, but the film itself, Thomas Jane's acting, everything about it is how a graphic comic book movie should be. And I don't know what happened with this X-Men Dark Phoenix, whether it was mismarketed, mismade, missed opportunity? I'll let you guys decide. Obviously, please comment if you don't agree with what I say, or if you do, please like the video, or don't if you don't like it. Subscribe to the channel. That would be nice. Eventually, I might put a video on there that everyone will go, wow, that guy's knows what he's saying. But thanks for watching. I'm now going to turn this off now that the best part of the film is actually finished already. And like I say, it's literally 10-15 minutes into it. And thanks very much. See you again soon. Bye-bye.